What's up, Titans? It's Tom Knight from Tighten Up Your Game, and today's video is all about push-ups. Whether you've never done even a single push-up before, or you've been doing them your whole life, I'm betting there's at least one version in this video just waiting for you to try. Push-ups are compound exercises, meaning that they work out several muscle groups all at once. In fact, that's one of my favorite things about gymnastics and calisthenics. Every single exercise hits, on some level, the whole body. And while on the surface, push-ups appear to target the chest, shoulders, and arms, in reality, the whole body is brought into play in nearly every version of the push-up. Some of them require us to tighten our core to keep our bodies from sagging. Others require us to tighten our glutes and quads to maintain straight legs. And still others, we have to tighten every muscle in our bodies in order to maintain balance. It all just depends on which version of the push-up we're doing. And today, we're going to cover them all, starting with the easiest and ending with the hardest. Last thing, all the push-up variations you're about to see require one or both of our hands to maintain contact with the floor at all times. So in this video, I will not be covering any of the variations of what are called plyo push-ups. Things like clapping push-ups or Superman push-ups, or really any other kind of push-up that require both hands to lift off the floor at the same time. I'll cover those in a future video. For now, let's build up some real pushing strength. So, if you're still working toward your very first push-up, not to worry. We'll begin with knee push-ups, which look exactly like they sound. With knee push-ups, you won't have to lift all your body weight, nor will you have to really worry about tightening your core all that much. Here, we're just simply focusing on pushing a lighter amount of body weight. Just remember, with this version and every other variation of the push-up, keep your elbows in. Don't let them flare out. As you get stronger, you can transition to full body push-ups. But to keep things on the lighter side, we do incline push-ups. You'll still be lifting your entire body weight, but because of the incline, it won't feel like it weighs as much. And it will only require a little more tightening of the core. Incline push-ups also target the lower pec muscles, which are usually already stronger than our middle and upper chest muscles. The next progression would be standard push-ups, which are exactly the same, only now we're parallel to the floor at the bottom of the move. Here, we're targeting our middle chest muscles. And notice that it only took working on 2 previous progressions to get us to the point where we can do bona fide push-ups. Pretty cool, right? And again, keep those elbows in. Now we're ready to tip the scale in the other direction and begin to make push-ups progressively harder and harder, starting with decline push-ups. Decline push-ups target our upper chest muscles, our weakest area. And because we're slightly inverted, core strength becomes even more important to keep our bodies from sagging. Moving back to standard push-up position, we can begin to add incredible amounts of difficulty simply by repositioning our hand placement on the floor relative to our bodies. So, for example, wide grip push-ups will work the pecs a lot more than standard push-ups. Since our triceps are in a less advantageous position to assist with the pushing, the pecs have to do a lot more work. Also, a wide grip stretches the pec muscles more, increasing their range of motion, which always increases the level of difficulty. Another variation would be close grip push-ups, also known as triangle push-ups or heart-to-heart push-ups. Here, the triceps bear the brunt of the pushing, although the innermost pec muscles do come into play. Most close grip pushing exercises target the triceps and they help define that vertical line between the pecs, so keep that in mind if that's a goal of yours. Next, archer push-ups. Archer push-ups provide a pathway toward eventually being able to do one-arm push-ups. Here, a majority of our body weight is placed over a single arm, but the other arm still assists, just not that much. You can either do these with your hands spaced far apart and alternate leaning toward one arm and then the other, or you can use sliders, which sometimes helps ease the rotation of your hands. Next, Sphinx push-ups target triceps almost exclusively, although a strong core is definitely an imperative to prevent the body from sagging or piking as you perform this technique. Pseudo-planche push-ups are a great way to challenge yourself if you feel that push-up exercises in general have become too easy. But I promise you, these will take you all the way back to the beginning in terms of only being able to do 1 or 2 reps, if at all. It all depends on where you place your hands. For these, we need to use a tape measure and a wall. We use the tape measure to ensure accurate hand placement and also as a way to track our progress. And we use the wall to prevent cheating of any kind. These really are incredibly difficult, and your body will want to cheat by scooting itself backwards. The wall prevents that from happening. Stretch out the tape measure from the wall and then place your hands at a specific measure marking that is several inches less than where your shoulders would land if you were to lay flat. The closer you place your hands to your belt line, the harder this exercise gets. For most people, placing their hands directly at their belt lines renders this push-up impossible. So, unless you've already done these before, I highly recommend starting by placing your hands only a few inches lower than where your hands would normally hit were you to do standard push-ups. One last thing about these, as your hands get closer to your belt line, you may need to rotate the wrists so that the fingers point outward rather than forward. It all just depends on your wrist flexibility. Okay, last variation before we begin to really invert our bodies, the one-arm push-up. For this version, keep your feet about 2 shoulder widths apart to assist with balance. Take one hand and place it on the back of your leg, and execute the push-up with the other hand. Reverse the hands and do it again, going back and forth until you've reached your desired number of reps. Okay, now moving forward, we will begin to invert our bodies more and more over the next 5 variations. The first one is the incline pike push-up. These are similar to the incline push-ups from the beginning, only now we're creating an angle with our hips. This is called a pike. What this does is place more body weight over our heads, which forces our upper chest muscles and our shoulder muscles to do most of the pushing. Now these are usually weaker muscle groups, so these will feel much more difficult. And again, as always, keep those elbows in. Also, with any variation of the pike push-up, what you want to do is create a triangle between your head and your hands. Descend downward and forward, creating that nice triangle shape. As you might have guessed, we're going to the floor next for standard pike push-ups. Now that we're on level ground, the pike push-up will feel slightly more difficult. And the last of the pike push-ups, you guessed it, decline. With the feet higher than the hands, even more weight is placed on your upper pecs and shoulder muscles, making this exercise the toughest of them all. Okay, the last 2 variations are extremely difficult. You should only try these after successfully moving through the previous push-up versions. But for those of you who really want to go hard, these next 2 will certainly provide that opportunity. First, the wall-assisted handstand push-up, wherein the body is entirely upside down. This places all your body weight directly over your shoulders and arms. We do these with our stomach facing the wall, and we can either cartwheel up to the top position, or we can wall walk our way up. Wear socks too, so your toes will slide easily up and down the wall as you perform these moves. Keep your core extremely tight throughout the entire move so that your back never arches. As you descend, create that same triangle shape on the floor with your head and your hands. And as you push back up, try not to let your feet help in any way by tiptoeing on the wall. Instead, keep your toes pointed and let them slide, forcing your arms, shoulders, and upper pecs to do all the work. Lastly, the pinnacle of all push-ups is the freestanding handstand push-up. It's just like the previous version, only you don't have the wall to help you keep balance, which makes this incredibly difficult. Personally, I'm still working on these because my form isn't where I want it to be. And I thought about not including this last variation in this video because of how hard it is and because of how many prerequisites must first be achieved, like holding a freestanding handstand. But hey, it's a valid variation, so why not, right? If nothing else, it's something to shoot for. Okay, that's all of them. Just find the one that best represents where you are in your push-up journey and start there. And I'd say that when you can successfully do 3 sets of 8 to 10 reps, move to the next progression. Okay, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, show me some love by hitting the like button. And by all means, comment below if you'd like me to cover anything specific. Don't forget to subscribe either, so you'll never miss any new releases. Okay, see you on the next one.